Hey friends, welcome back to Practicing My Preparedness with Wendy. Today, I've been watching some backpacking and through hiking kind of videos to kind of get an idea of lightening my load for like a go bag. If I have to travel and carry the bag through hikers and backpackers, they seem to have it dialed in pretty good on how to lighten your load and carry things and know what's essential and what isn't. And so I'm kind of gleaning information from them. So today, I saw that they had what they call a cozy. It's either like a bag cozy or I don't remember what else they call it, but it's this really light and thin piece of equipment that you use to cook your food. So I thought we'd kind of try a few different things here. I'm going to be using some of my year-long or 2-year-long kind of stock of supplies that I have in the house. So I'm going to try to use up some of that, and also check on I have different menus that I've done to have in the house. And so just going to whip some of these things up, trying to use the freezer bag and cozy combo and see if it works. Practice with it and see if we still sort of like these menu ideas to keep stocked in the house. So let me bring you down and show you what I have set up. All right, so what I have here are 2 pouch cozies that I have. This one I bought on Amazon, already made. The sides are sewn nicely, and there's some tabs and a Velcro across the top to keep it sealed. And then I also got one that I made myself. So this one can be made from cutting up a car sunshade. You just cut it to the dimensions you want. I used my quart size bags as kind of a guide, and then some duct tape here to kind of close up the sides, and then I just used the clip to kind of cover the top. So we'll try both of them today and see how they work. I've got the quart size and these Ziploc bags. This is the Walmart brand, and you need to make sure that they're the freezer Ziplocs, not the regular ones. The regular ones won't tolerate the boiling water that we put in it, but the freezer bags will. They'll stand up to it. The reason for doing this is that all I have to do is boil some water, and that's the only fuel that I'm going to use. Boil up the water and then turn the fuel off. So it's a way of holding on and saving fuel. It's also a way to save water in that cleanup is super simple. I'm not washing a bunch of dishes and plates and things. I just have a Ziploc bag that I could kind of rinse out if I wanted to, or throw it away depending on the circumstance. This is also a way of cooking that I would use on the go. I wouldn't necessarily use it if I were bugging in, but if we're heading out and on the go, this is definitely a viable way of trying to conserve water, conserve fuel, and still have some hot food. So, and speaking of boiling the water, I just wanted to show you if we were out and about, I would probably be using my jet boil here. But for convenience purposes, I'm just going to use my kettle today because boiling water is boiling water, and I'm not going to try to use up my fuel that's here. But I did find last time I went camping with my husband that the jet boil, I got this extra attachment because you can't set a pot on top of this. You have to only use the jet boil cup here. And so I went on Amazon and found this attachment to put onto the top of my jet boil device here. And it raises it up enough. It has these little legs, raises it up enough that I can put a little small skillet or a little pot if I wanted to actually do some like other cooking other than using the jet boil cup there. So I just wanted to show you that. I was kind of excited that somebody thought of that and made that. Haven't used this new attachment yet, but it raises it up just enough that I should be able to use my little skillet on that and cook up some bacon and eggs. So I'll have to try that next time I go out. I'm super excited about that. But for our purposes here, we're just going to use my good old kettle on the stove. The three meals we're going to use today, I just have some quick cooking oats with some sugar and cinnamon in here. So that would be a simple and easy breakfast. I have my 2 cans of meat here. They're from my supply. They're both dented, and so I looked for the ones that I had written dent on and pulled them out. One is chicken, one is pulled pork. And then we'll have some mashed potatoes. And then the pastaroni makes this garlic and olive oil pasta. So we'll try just using boiling water and cooking it up in our little cozy here. We particularly like this type of pastaroni because it doesn't require any milk. I think you could probably get away without using milk on some of the other ones. It just wouldn't taste the same. And in our supply, I assume we won't always have milk or refrigeration and things like that. So when I do stock up, I tend to stock up on the garlic and olive oil one because we don't necessarily have milk in the house. Powdered milk would probably work, but we don't really stock that much of that either. So we do like to use that one. So let's get cooking. All right. So I thought we'd try the pastaroni first. So what I did was I took the noodles out of the box, put them inside one of my freezer, quart-size freezer bags. I'm going to pour the package of seasoning in here as well. And then it says on the box, 1 3/4 cup of water is what it cooks in normally. So what I'll do is I will pour out this hot water. Okay. Close up the zipper on that. Kind of give it a quick little smush around here. Ooh, that's hot. I'm going to put it inside the cozy that has the Velcro. Make sure the top is sealed. Good, good. And then down it goes. And close up the cozy. And it says to normally cook on the stove for 8 to 10 minutes. So at around 10 minutes, I'll open it up, give it a stir, and see if it's done cooking. I'm thinking it might take a little bit longer because that's a stove direction, and this is, off script here. So we're just going to let it sit and see what we think. I do have the chicken to put into it, but the chicken is already cooked. So I figure maybe the last 5 minutes or so, I'll open it up, put the chicken in it, and let that warm up as the pasta finishes cooking. So let's do breakfast with the oatmeal here. Let's see. Let me just get some boiling water here, and we'll pour some in, and then we'll use the cozy that I made and see how that works. Let's see, that looks about right. So hot. And then we'll put it in the cozy that I made here and see how that works. Put the little clip on and set that to the side. So now it's been about 5 minutes, so I'm going to check on the oatmeal here. It should be done, I would think. Ooh, it's warm in this bag. Here's the oatmeal. It's thickened up. Looks about the right consistency. It's very, very hot still. So I think I'm just going to leave it in my cozy to keep it warm while I eat it. And I'm just going to open up the Ziploc bag and put in my little spoon here, give it a mix, and see how that cooks and how it tastes. Let's see. Ooh, it's still really, really hot. It's cooked beautifully, delicious, and super hot still. I think the nice thing is that if I left this sit for a while, it would still be really hot and stay really warm for quite a while being inside the cozy. So if I got distracted, if I did this and then was taking down my tent or taking care of the dogs or doing something else, and I come back to it, my oatmeal isn't cold. It's nice and warm from sitting in the cozy. So that's a win. Right, so we're going to use my homemade cozy, which seems to be working pretty good so far. And we're going to do the instant mashed potatoes with the pulled pork. This mashed potatoes, you just pour it in, stir it, and let it sit for a minute. I do want my potatoes to stay warm, though, while I heat up the pulled pork. So let's do the mashed potatoes. I'm kind of thinking about doing this in a different way than I've seen it done before, but so we're going to just give it a try. So for the instant potatoes, it says to use 1.5 cups. So here's 1 cup. And we'll do a little more here, 1.5 cups. Use my spoon, give it a little stir. So I've stirred up my instant mashed potatoes. I'm just going to put it at the bottom. Ooh, hot, hot, hot. Bottom of the cozy. Put that down there. All right, so I've got it down here at the bottom. And then I want my pulled pork to be warm, but I don't want to heat it in another pan. I've got my pulled pork inside. I put it in a freezer bag, and then I'm putting it inside another freezer bag. And if I pour some hot water in here, it'll kind of be like a little bath that it sits in and gets nice and warm. That's my thought. So let's do that. We'll zip that up and put it in the cozy that already has the mashed potatoes at the bottom and let it sit. See how warm it gets and if it's delicious. Check on it, see if the pasta's done or not. And then we'll also put the chicken in it to warm up as well. Let's see what it looks like. Ooh, still really hot. Oh yeah, the pasta's kind of sticking to itself. So I'm going to set it down, give it a stir with a fork, put some chicken in it, and put it back in the cozy. So I gave it a good stir, and the pasta's getting soft. It's pretty close, actually, but I do want it to absorb some of this liquid that's in here. I put about 1/2 can of the chicken into it. A full can seems like a lot, especially for me just practicing. Oh, it's still really, really hot, which is great. It means that cozy is working. So let's put it back. All right, so let's try, this is the mashed potatoes and pulled pork. That just needed kind of heating up a little bit. I did notice this is the cozy that I made myself, that I did have a little blowout on the corner here where I didn't tape it well enough, evidently. So I just fold that over and I'll put some more ducting tape on there, and that should be fine. The other side seems to be holding up just fine, and it seems to be holding the heat in great. So that's a win. So I'm going to take this out. Normally, I would think you just eat it out of the bag to, again, save water from having to wash things. So, but I'm going to put it in a bowl just for presentation and to take a look and see if everything's nice and hot and how it all cooked up using my cozy. I wanted to show you because we're just practicing here and there's failures and successes. So this isn't really a failure, but I didn't stir the mashed potatoes well enough. I think it's because the bag was kind of hot and I didn't want to hold it to stir it. So I don't know if you can see, but I didn't stir it well enough. So there's some dry spots as I poured some of it out. So I'm just going to mix it up a little bit and let it sit there for another minute while I get the pulled pork. I wish you could smell this. This barbecue pulled pork from Walmart in the can is it's so delicious. And then the mashed potatoes, I just gave them a good stir and let them sit there while I put this on. The pulled pork is nice and warm, so putting it inside another bag with the hot water seemed to do the trick because I wanted to preserve all the sauce to be able to pour over my mashed potatoes. We'll give this a try, but everything's super hot and it should be delicious. Delicious, good as always. So it's been about another 10 minutes, so about 20 minutes total for the pastaroni to cook in my cozy with that boiling water we poured in there. I also have that chicken in there that I put in about 7 or 8 minutes ago. Stirred that all in to warm the chicken through. So let's open it up, see what it looks like. It's still really hot inside this cozy. Ah, look at that. That is still just really, really hot. These cozies really insulate and they keep that nice and hot in there. So this seemed to cook up pretty good in there. I was slightly skeptical because it was long pieces of pasta and it is fairly soupy. Don't know if you can see that here. There's still quite a bit of water. Maybe next time I wouldn't use quite so much water as recommended for stovetop. But there's the chunks of chicken in there, and let's give it a try. See what we think. See if it's cooked all the way through. That is delicious. Certainly a viable way to heat up and cook your food, and not just heat up, like actually cook your food without having to use your fuel source constantly over an open flame of any kind, using up your propane or whatever. Have the boiling water, pour it in that freezer Ziploc bag and put it in one of these cozies. They're light, they're easy. You could just fold them in half and throw them in a bag. That really seems to do the trick. So the backpackers and thru hikers are onto something with that. Thanks for coming along with me today and trying out something new that I'd never done before either. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.